Hello and welcome to the Southern View, coming to you live from outside the Vidhan Sauda in Bengaluru. What's next in the Karnataka drama? That will be our focus. Is it time for Rahul Gandhi and the High Command to bite the Karnataka bullet? We'll try and pose that question across to experts. We'll get you up to date with all the big political developments of the day. Namaskara, namaskaram, baunara, nalarkingla always, and welcome to the Southern View. I'll be joined today by my colleague Ritu Rajpurohit, who's been tracking every nook and turn of this Karnataka development today. Least to say, Ritu, it's been 2.5 years. We've been talking about this every time, and it's always as exciting as before. Perhaps not for the politicians, but at least for us. And everyone's waiting with bated breath, because what's likely to happen in the next couple of days? We've learned that there will be a meeting of Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah in New Delhi, along with the Congress High Command, on the 28th or the 29th. And the Congress wants to send out a categorical message of clarity on what's ahead, whether its status quo remains or whether there's a likely change eventually, or is there going to be a cabinet reshuffle? Is there going to be tinkering of power equations? Is there going to be a change in the Congress state presidentship? Multiple questions before the Congress High Command, but we believe the Congress wants to send out a message of certainty and clarity before the 1st of December. Do you believe that will happen, Ritu, or are we going to keep speculating for many, many more days to come?
Well, we've been hearing that the politicians say that it's the media who's basically speculating it all, but we do know that these are the leaders who are coming before the media to make out their statements, because they are also well known that this message needs to be conveyed to the High Command, and that's how the media as a forum has been utilized as well. But when you question me saying whether this is going to happen or not, but you see there are a list of questions before the High Command as well. They will have to try and understand the whole of the caste equation as well, as you're well aware about it, that Siddaramaiah, for that matter, is called as the Ahinda leader. We have had Devraj arrest in the past. Now after that, it's Siddaramaiah who's hoping to present a budget in the February month and cross that whole of the ratio of what Devraj also has passed as a in the budget form, and wherein you also have the other equations to understand. The Muslims, for that matter, in the state are around 13%. You have Veerashaiva Lingayats as well, who are at 10% of rank, 11% in fact, and Vokaligas who are around 10% as well.
You're putting down the complex Karnataka political reality before us, but we have 25-30 minutes left more to discuss that, and we'll do that because we may have 2-3 more days to do that bit, but we will put that point across, because the point Ritu is making, if I can put it in short, is that don't just see this as personalities, but see this as larger political equations at play. And one important factor in that political equation is Satish Jarkioli, the powerful minister from Belagavi, who has publicly demanded a change of state Congress president. He had a meeting with DK Shivakumar. I believe my colleague Deepak joins me live from outside Satish Jarkioli's residence, where there are multiple other meetings with MLAs. Very briefly, Deepak, bring us up to date with what's happening on the Jarkioli front, on the Jarkioli factor. Also explain to us why this is important in the DK Shivakumar Siddaramaiah equation that we've been discussing.
Well, absolutely. As far as Mr. Satish Jarkioli is concerned, he's a very popular leader, especially when it comes to, North Karnataka. After the meeting that he held with Mr. DK Shivakumar yesterday, today he hosted lunch for a number of legislators, and now he's going to have another meeting, at his residence. And we already have a few MLAs who've come here, so I'm going to not waste any more time and ask these questions directly to them. Vishwas Vaidya, the Saundati MLA, here with us. बताइए आप लंच किया आपने सतीश जारकिहोली जी के साथ, क्या मैसेज दिया उन्होंने? क्योंकि आप लोग मिलते हैं बहुत बार, लेकिन ये जो सिचुएशन है बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन है कर्नाटका में. इस दौरान आपकी जो मीटिंग है इसका महत्व बताइए.
पहले सतीश जारकिहोली जी हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिनिस्टर है, हमारे जिला मंत्री है. रेगुलरली हम लोग उनके साथ हमेशा हफ्ते में 1 बार 2 बार तो मिलते रहते हैं, खाना खाते रहते हैं. ये तो कैजुअल है, लेकिन
आज का कैजुअल नहीं था.
आज भी कैजुअल ही था, लेकिन उस टाइम वक्त कैसा इत्तेफाक पर बोलते ना, वैसे 7-8 लोग MLAs मिले खाने के लिए.
एक सीनियर कांग्रेस लीडर हैं, हमारे दर्शक भी समझते हैं कि ये जो सिनेरियो है वो नॉर्मल सिनेरियो नहीं है. तो कुछ तो महत्व है ये सिनेरियो में, जहाँ पर आप 7-8 MLA साथ में बैठ रहे हैं और आज भी शाम में एक बैठक हो रही है. आप थोड़े तो बता दीजिए कि क्या डिस्कशन क्या था.
डिस्कशन वही अभी हाई कमांड जो अभी वेरी सून डायरेक्शंस जो देंगे उसके हिसाब से चलेंगे. कहीं पे भी हम लोग गलत रास्ता ढूंढने का नहीं चाहिए, इसलिए हाईकमांड जो बोलते हैं वही करेंगे बोल के इन्फॉर्मेशन इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए हमारे जिला मंत्री ने। हम लोग भी उनके फॉलोअर्स रहने से हम लोग कोई
इंटरेस्टिंग स्टेटमेंट दिया आपने। आप बोल रहे हैं कि गलत रास्ता चूज नहीं करना चाहिए, ये सही बात है आप जो बोल रहे हैं। क्या है गलत रास्ता इस समय?
मतलब कुछ लोग अभी दिल्ली जा रहे थे, कुछ लोग कहीं पे भी गोवा ऐसे ऐसे जा रहे करके मीडिया में आ रहे थे ना, इसलिए उसको हम लोग
इकट्ठा रहने की कोशिश करते हैं।
हाँ, सब लोग अभी हमारे जिला मंत्री अच्छा डायरेक्शंस दिए, हम लोग अभी हाई कमांड जो बोलते हैं उसके लिए हम लोग सहमत रहते हैं। अभी आगे क्या होता है देखेंगे, हाई कमांड very soon will give the directions, we hope so.
So you're hoping that the high command directions will come very soon.
We'll try and keep going back to Deepak to understand the Jarkioli factor, but let's get the other big reactions that came in during the day, which include Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar and Mallikarjun Kharge, pretty much setting up the discussion because we'll have an expert panel that will join Ritu and me in just a bit. But first, let's listen in to the key players today.
Set of MLAs also are appealing the High Command that you should put this matter to a rest.
Whatever they want to say,
let
them say to the High Command. Ultimately, to put a full stop to this confusion, the High Command has to take it. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಡಲ್ಲಾಗ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಡಲ್ ಆಗೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅತಿಯಾಗಿ ಖುಷಿನೂ ಪಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಪಾಪ. ಸೇ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಏನು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವರು ಏನು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೀಡರ್ಗಳು ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರು ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾರ? ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಕೆಲವರು ಹಿಂದೇನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಈಗಲೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡು ಏನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಹೌದು, ಈಗಲೂ ಮಾತು ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದು ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರು ಏನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹೌದು, ನೀನು ಯಾಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ಹೌದು, ನಾನೇ ಮುಂದುವರಿತೀನಿ, ಬಜೆಟ್ನು ನಾನೇ ಮಂಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾರು? ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರೇ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಳೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Lot of supporters of yours are saying that DK Shivakumar deserves to become the chief minister, sir. But the question being raised, they are saying that initially AICC has provided a clarification saying that 2.5 Siddaramaiah sir will be next 5 years. DK Shivakumar will be the chief minister, sir. Certainly, your leaders in themselves are hopeful right now, sir.
I don't have any. All the workers of the state are my friends. Supporters, they are Congress supporters, they are not Shivakumar supporters.
So, but the Chief Minister himself is saying that there is a confusion, the High Command should put a full stop to it, sir.
I don't know about it. ನಾನೇನು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತಲೂ ನಾನು, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ 5-6 ಜನದ ಗುಟ್ಟಿನ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನು ಬೈರೋಂಗ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ನಾನು ನಂಬಿರೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಸಾಕ್ಷಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಸಾಕ್ಷಿಗೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಪಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಥರದ ಮುಜುಗರ ತರೋಕ್ಕೂ ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪಕ್ಷನ ವೀಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪಕ್ಷ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನಾವು, ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರಿದ್ದರೆ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಯಕರುಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ CM ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಹಿರಿಯರು, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಆಸ್ತಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ನಾವು 7 ವರ್ಷ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಜೆಟು ಮಂಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಾಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಲೀಡರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ದುಡಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಪಕ್ಷ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ 28 ಗುರಿ.
ನಾನು ಇರ್ತೀನೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಚಾರ, ಬಟ್ 100 ಕಚೇರಿ ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ನಿಮಿಷ, ನಾವು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು, ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 6 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಲೈನ್, ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ನಾನು ಅವತ್ತೇ ನಾನು ಉಪಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆ ದಿನನೇ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಖರ್ಗೆ ಸಾಹೇಬರು, ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ಇರೋ DK ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಇರು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪಕ್ಷ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Well, I can tell you that we just played that DK Shivakumar tic-tac that you got after, navigating through all the crowds. DK Shivakumar is really the focus of all the journalists, because every time he speaks, there's some news that comes out. But there's another man who's perhaps more important here, Ritu, and that's Mallikarjun Kharge. We'll play Mallikarjun Kharge's, soundbite today in a bit. But first, let me introduce our guest this evening. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, Anurag Naidu, political analyst, Madhavan Narayan, and senior journalist, and also Ramakrishna Upadhyay, who's tracked Karnataka politics for many, many decades. Join us live. Thanks to all 4 of you for joining us here. Sanjay Jha, how much of a headache is it for Rahul Gandhi to bite the Karnataka bullet? Do you expect clarity before the 1st of December, since you understand the Congress possibly much better than many of us here? What's your prediction?
Veera, let me tell you, the headache is caused, if at all, by your own actions or inactions. I believe for the Congress, frankly, there is a message that is loud and clear from what happened in Rajasthan not so long ago, what happened in Punjab and Chhattisgarh. Competing ambitions or competitive internal challenges between leaders is nothing new. In fact, it's good in politics to have a lot of leaders who vie for the big job. The job of the leadership, though, is to kind of troubleshoot, to make sure that the overall functioning of the party is not disturbed while you make a change of guard. In my opinion, and I would like to be rather upfront on today's program of yours, Veera, which is that the Congress has to look at the future. Now, I think Mr. Siddaramaiah has done a very good job. His credentials are flawless. He's got a brilliant track record. And despite the BJP trying to, harass him with all kinds of charges, he is delivered on most of the governance fronts. I mean, the best that he could do. But the future, I do believe, belongs to DK Shivakumar, not just because of his age, etc., but he's a troubleshooter. He is someone who can possibly look at 28 and 29 as the real, shall we say, linchpin of the Congress fight back to make sure that the BJP doesn't make any further inroads into Karnataka. And you got to invest in that. You got to give him time. I remember Sachin kept waiting in Rajasthan till it became too late, and people said, now there's hardly any time. If you want to win the 28 election for the Congress party, DK needs time to govern in Karnataka, come up with his own policies, introduce new programs, create his own team, and run a great campaign. You need to give a sitting guy an opportunity. And the Congress usually defers these to the last minute, and then it becomes a huge embarrassment and it boomerangs. So I do hope, Veera, and I'm being very upfront here, the Congress needs to move with DK.
Sanjay, because you're making an important point. You're making you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that a transition is inevitable at some point of time. The question now is when and how this transition is going to happen. Before I get back to our panel, let's just listen in to Mallikarjun Kharge earlier in the day, sending out a clear message that he, along with Mrs. Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and the rest of the Congress High Command, will decide eventually what's going to happen next. Let's listen in to Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president.
देखो, वहाँ की सरकार क्या कर रहे हैं वहाँ के लोग बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन मेरा कहना यह है कि ऐसे समस्याओं को हम सुलझाएंगे. हम हाईकमांड के लोग, मैं हूँ, हमारे राहुल जी हैं, हमारी नेता, श्रेष्ठ नेता सोनिया गांधी जी है. हम बैठ के सोच के उसको कुछ किस ढंग से क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसा चल रहा है, उसको क्या करना है, जो मेडिसिन देना है वो सब देंगे उसके तहत.
Well, that was Mallikarjun Kharge. Ritu, very quick update before I go back to our panel. Kharge, back in Bangalore, is expected to go back to Delhi tomorrow evening. He's here to attend a wedding this evening. What's the buzz you're picking up from the Kharge camp? Because there are those who believe that if there is going to be an impossible situation between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, eventually at some point of time, it could even be the old warhorse of the Congress, Mallikarjun Kharge, as the compromise candidate to keep the party together.
Well, very true. You see, the timing here, Veera, is also in question. Now, you will have Mallikarjun Kharge tomorrow coming down to Bengaluru after his personal event. He will, obviously, it's by default that he's also going to meet a lot of these MLAs as well. Now, before that, now just see what's really happening in the, presently, that's even we are talking about this whole drama. You have Satish Jarkioli meeting this set of MLAs. Now, looks like the Satish Jarkioli who's been roped inside to resolve this whole matter as well and, consolidate the thoughts of these MLAs might be that, he might be asked by the Mallikarjun Kharge to pass on the message as well. So timing over here is also in question. Probably this meeting could have happened tomorrow as well.
That's
but
right.
Before that, you see this meeting that is underway right now.
That's right. This all fits into the fact that before the 1st of December, they want to have some kind of clarity. Ramakrishna Upadhyay, you have been predicting that there will be a change, but my friend, there seems to be a sense that a change may come eventually, but for the moment, the optics that the Congress High Command wants to send across is one of certainty and one of clarity, where there may not be a change right now, but perhaps an indication or a promise of a change eventually. How do you read the situation, Ramakrishna Upadhyay?
Hi, Veer. I see you in front of Vidhan Sauda. In fact, I think my hunch is, since you couldn't do the regime change from Delhi, you have come down to Bangalore. Is that true? Are you here for the regime change?
I'm standing right outside the Vidhan Sauda. So
I know, I can see the lights of Vidhan Sauda, and I'm sure you've come down to make sure that things move forward.
You can see the traffic as well.
I can tell you DK Shivakumar is playing it very smart. In fact, he has done the right things. He's making the right kind of noises. And he has been very deferential to the High Command as well as Siddaramaiah. But then look at the way he has moved things in the last 3-4 days. He has been very, very smart, though he doesn't have the numbers. Now he has made finally Rahul Gandhi say, okay, I will call you. I don't know how many text messages he had to send to get that message. And secondly, he has made sure that Sonia Gandhi also listens, and possibility of a meeting happening on 29th is being talked about, though there is no certainty about it. And then when Mr. Kharge was here in Bangalore for 4 days, he didn't meet him. But yesterday, very smartly, when he was on the way to the airport, he just barges in there, gets the security fellow sitting in the front seat of the car, pulls him out and gets into the car and has 45 minutes talk with Mr. Hegde on the way to the airport. We don't know what exactly transpired there. I'm sure he would have told Mr. Hegde that, Kharge, that, you need to take action in this. So he has been moving in all directions, and I'm sure that, something is bound to happen now. Possibly a meeting of both Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar in the presence of the High Command. See, even Siddaramaiah has now realized that things have moved very, very
well, that seems
wrong
to be a given
direction.
right now, Ramakrishna Upadhyay, that there is going to be a meeting of Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar in New Delhi, is what we are told. It's likely to happen on the 28th or the 29th. 29th, more likely, is what I believe, which is coming Saturday. Let me quickly get Madhavan Narayan. Madhavan Narayan, do you believe that the optics that's going to come out before the 1st of December is one that's going to allow status quo to continue in a sense of certainty, or do you believe that there could be a whiff of change in Karnataka? What's the sense you're picking up from the Congress High Command?
Well, I'm no longer a ground reporter, but as a long-time Congress observer, I can tell you that the Congress High Command never acts in haste and never acts under pressure, or appears to act under pressure. So what they will probably do is, even if they strike a deal or get a consensus between the two, contesting leaders, it will be gently let out later, maybe after the budget or before. But I can also tell you that something in the way this is all happening reminds me of the US-China trade war. It's an analogy which is out of place, but it's between two very strong parties. And I want to look beyond individuals and all the lovely details that my old friend Ramakrishna Upadhyay dished out, to look at it from a socio-political or socio-economic context. You mentioned even Satish Jarkioli. I suddenly realized he's a scheduled tribe leader from north of Karnataka who's got a daughter who's named Priyanka, sitting in parliament. And there's a lot to be read into Mr. Kharge's use of the word medicine also. He's kind of admitting that there is a sickness out there and they've got some bitter medicine to dish out. So the question is whether DK Shivakumar, for all the details that have already been shared by my fellow panelists, has also got a Ahinda card up his sleeve, because essentially this is between the power of the Ahinda constituency built up by Siddaramaiah and the Vocaligas represented by the DK Shivakumar in Congress. You see, the BJP has already bet its farm on the Lingayats with Vijendra. We have to get the social context in. It's not just about people. It's about what are the long-term prospects for
Absolutely.
Congress.
And I think the social context is important, Madhavan Narayanan, and I completely agree with you that the social context is the basis for the entire political display. And there I come to Anurag Naidu very briefly, irrespective of whether it is the BJP or the Congress. While the BJP may be, and I use the word quote-unquote rejoicing in the Congress chaos or the speculation around potential leadership change, it is largely the core social structures and the political power plays of Karnataka in terms of both caste and regional powers that results in this kind of a power equation and instability irrespective of which party comes to power. Do you believe that that's going to come to the fore and eventually be the focal point of the decision of the Congress, or do you believe it's going to be more about the two personalities? Anurag Naidu.
Yeah, thank you. Veera, I think you rightly put out. Both the parties, Congress and BJP in Karnataka, have this problem. But, the major difference is the high command. The BJP high command is a vote getter for the party. Congress high command is not a vote getter for the party. BJP eventually listen to the vote getter. But the beauty about Congress is everybody in Congress will say whatever decision is taken by the high command, we will all follow that.
But Anurag, we are talking about a party when the BJP was not in power, where B.S. Yediyurappa even broke it.
Yes, I'm telling you, Veera. That is an exception. But I'm telling you that the post-Modi era, I'm talking about post-2014. Everybody says in Congress, we follow the high command. Until the high command takes a decision, then everybody unfollows them. So that's the beauty about Congress. Now see, even if you consider that Mr. DK Shivakumar become the chief minister, there is no guarantee that Mr. Jarkioli or, the likes of Bharati Suresh or Zamir Ahmed will follow the suit. I mean, there is all possibility Mr. Jarkioli might break away to BJP. There is all possibility in the section of MLA that are backing the Siddaramaiah. My question is, Raghav, is that we are not just having political crisis, but we are having an executive crisis. The government and the governance has come to standstill. The files are not moving. Decision is not taking place. My worry is if there is an instability till the next election, people of Karnataka and the people of Bangalore will face the heat. There will be a policy paralysis. There will be a government. Because once you are in the seat, you will then have to fight to save your seat. And the person who is going to go out will try everything to make things unstable for you. And Congress is really weak on that wicket. Congress cannot give a stable, once they are broken. We've seen Rajasthan, we've seen Madhya Pradesh. And I'm afraid we will see Karnataka. That is something which is not in the interest of the voters.
I get your point. I know the allegation that you're making as far as instability is concerned, but the Congress would turn around and argue that we've been able to give a far more stable government in Karnataka than the BJP ever has. I'll take that point to Sanjay Jha, but before that, a more important point to you, Ramakrishna Upadhyay. Explain the context of the others possibly in this power equation. It's often seen in the binary prism of Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, but there are others as well. In fact, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's name comes up often. There is the question of the Satish Jarkioli factor. Just explain very briefly, put this in context in terms of the others who are part of this power play, who are crucial players.
Absolutely. The reason why Shivakumar called on Satish Jarkioli yesterday is all the more reason why he knows that, he could be a contender. And Siddaramaiah could very well put him up as somebody to replace him. These kind of tactics have been played earlier. If Siddaramaiah has to step down, he will put somebody else, not Shivakumar. So I think he must have had a heart-to-heart talk with Jarkioli, telling him as to what they can do together. 2028 also elections are there. So, they would have had a talk. And probably you would have said, we will ensure that you become the KPCC president now, and then you let me be the chief minister now for 2.5 years, and we'll see how we go. So I think he's being very smart. He is, thinking ahead of what can happen once they sit down to talk. And, see, Siddaramaiah is not going to go west immediately. Okay. If there is a meeting on the 28th or 29th, he will have to be told as to, when he is going to step down. And I don't think it will happen in a week or a month's time. He will have his own conditions. So these are, issues which cannot be, sorted out very, very quickly. So Siddaramaiah will come up with, I want to present the budget. I want to.
Absolutely. You're making a very important point. There has to be a gradual change of guard, even if there has to be a change of guard. But Sanjay Jha, tell me very briefly, would you believe that the High Command is perhaps time to not allow this confusion to prevail? Because there is no major punitive action against MLAs who have publicly demanded change or others speaking out of turn, A. B, the fact that there has not been categorical clarity from the Congress leadership or the High Command, whereas while Siddaramaiah has been maintaining that he will complete 5 years or he will present the budget, the messaging from the High Command seems to be the one that's in question now. Do you believe that there will be some kind of categorical clarity, or does the confusion work better for them?
No, I don't think the old Narasimha Rao statement that not taking a decision is also a decision has worked for the Congress party. And I was hearing a lot of other people on the program, but I do think that even Mr. Siddaramaiah will be aware. If you go back to the Rajasthan case where Ashok Gehlot became extremely stubborn and tried to actually, make Sachin Pilot look like a outcast, and eventually created a rebellion within the Congress party, lost the job of a Congress president that was for him for the asking, and is today to a great extent politically marginalized. So it's easy to say that both DK and Siddaramaiah can now, elbow their supporters to Delhi. But in politics, you do understand that if you have been with a party for a long time, you really have to fit within the dictates of what the top leadership thinks. So if people believe that just because the Congress has lost elections, it makes Mr. Kharge or Rahul Gandhi weak, it doesn't, because they still have the bigger say in terms of how the party is going to be running in the state and in the country. People don't like to burn bridges, Veera. And I do believe that, yes, this is the reason why Rahul or Mr. Kharge himself need to be more decisive. It's always a risk, but you got to learn to manage. That's what leadership is about, right? Some people are going to be unhappy whether it's DK, and if Siddaramaiah continues, some people are still going to be unhappy. And that's what leadership is about. How do you bring these contradictions together, huddle them up, make them one, and carry on? That's about it.
That's right. You're making a very, very important point there. There needs to be some kind of decisiveness in here. Ritu Raj Purohit, as somebody who's covering it for the last, let's say, few weeks or few months, one was told that post Bihar there will be a sense of buzz, and we believe that there will be a... How much do you believe this is about leadership change that's playing out? How much do you believe this is more about trying to set the tone for potentially a cabinet reshuffle? Because remember, if winter session of Parliament starting on the 1st of December, winter session of the Karnataka legislature in Belagavi will be starting a little later in December.
Well, Veera, there's a lot that needs to be answered here from the High Command side, or for that matter from the KPCC chief himself. Now, he says that he is the chief for all the 140 MLAs. We have seen some sort of disciplinary actions being taken against some set of MLAs. For that matter, K.N. Rajan is a very important leader for the Congress. But there was an action that was taken against him as well. If these are the statements that are really damaging to the party, despite of this, being aware about this scenario, both Siddaramaiah as well as the DK Shivakumar and the High Command seems to be helpless. So that itself in its raises a lot of questions as well. But all that, where it is really going to lead to, that needs to be seen.
That's right. It needs to be seen. Madhavan Narayanan, you were pointing out to the deeper structures, right? One is the representative of the Ahinda conglomerate, which is an antidote to both the Lingayat and the Vokkaliga domination of Karnataka politics, and that's Siddaramaiah. You have DK Shivakumar, who is the face of the OBC Vokkaliga caste in the old Mysore region. Obviously, you have other power players like H.D. Kumaraswamy as well. Give us a sense of what you believe would be the most crucial challenge for the Congress High Command, even if Siddaramaiah, let's say, is on board, for them to have some kind of transition of power before 2028. Do you believe that it's going to be smooth, or is it going to be chaotic?
It's not going to be smooth for sure, but I don't think it will be chaotic either, Virag. I think it's Congress has it in mind. I'm pretty certain because if you look at the way Kanhaiya Kumar has been brought in Bihar, or even Mukesh Sahni has been was promised Deputy Chief Ministership of Bihar. There is an attempt in the Congress to keep a long-term aggregation of the non-dominant backward castes. I mean, Vokaligas and Lingayats apart, they want the Kurubas or the scheduled tribes or the emerging. The southern Dalits are very different from the northern Dalits. They are very smart, educated, increasingly upward mobile. So Congress wants to aggregate these people, and young leaders from these parties and social representation. Please remember, Rahul is batting for caste census. So all this put together means that these factors will play out in the tussle between DKS and Siddu, so that some kind of a consensus will be worked out in a way where they will be told, look, we have a long-term strategy and there are social transformations we are after, and you have to fit into that. And that's a way of subtly telling them, I'm nothing personal against you, but you'll have to look at the long term, and then a deal will be worked out accordingly. So it's very important that the Ahimda is a constituency that Siddaramaiah stitched up, but Rahul will probably want to take it forward with a second rung of leaders, and Satish Jarkioli may be part of that, and a lot of things will move on the chessboard, keeping in mind both the
point of the
division of
Ahimda
power.
leadership as well, which is why the optics of DK Shivakumar meeting Satish Jarkioli is not lost on those who've closely observed Karnataka. Very briefly, Anurag Naidu, if you were to take a guess, and a non-partisan guess, before the 1st of December, what do you expect? Status quo continues or some whiff of change? Very, very briefly.
I honestly think, looking at the track record of the Congress party, I see the status quo continuing for some more time. But I do not see a cabinet reshuffle. I definitely see that this time they must have felt that we need to take some call, something or the other. And definitely, we have one more point. I think when we are projecting a leader, let's say DKS for a Vokalinga community, I think the data does not show us that the Vokalingas are still accepted him as a leader. As long as, H.G. Devegoda, Kumaraswamy, JDS is still around. We have seen his brother losing the Bangalore South. So it is also a mark of question that what kind of a consolidated vote bank does he bring to the Congress? Wherein Siddaramaiah has a proven consolidated vote bank, whether it's Kurbas or the OBCs or the people who have been benefited by the welfare schemes. I think that remains to be a big question for the Congress. But if they have to reward DK Shivakumar, it has to be purely based on the performance, purely based on the fact that he pulls out the big games for them. He is the Virat Kohli for the Congress party.
So I will go to the final question to you, Ramakrishna Upadhyay, as someone who's observed Karnataka politics, before I give the last word to Ritu on this. But very, very briefly, Ramakrishna Upadhyay, between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, who's the one who's easier for the High Command and Kharge to deal with? I think the answer is obvious, but I'd still like to have it from you.
Well, I think the High Command will find out that it's not easy to deal with either of them, because both are tough nuts to crack, and they are sticking to their stand very, very strongly. And I think, they will have to come up with probably a third name. A third name, will be acceptable to both the sides. So probably what will happen on the 29th is, one more, dark horse emerging, and there will be discussion around that, which is what exactly Siddaramaiah wants, so that, this confusion can be, continued.
Okay, the confusion can be continued, you say. Some would say status quo to be continued. Ritu Rajpurohit, I know it's not good for journalists to bet on this or that, but do you expect some kind of clarity? I go back to the question that I asked you, because one can discuss this till the end of day, but ultimately the politicians tend to turn around and say, at least from the Congress, that look, you guys are making a mountain of a molehill. There is a problem that's going on and we are sorting it out. It's largely a media creation, but then they keep making statements that fuel that media speculation. What's the sense you're picking up both from the DKS camp and from the Siddaramaiah camp? Because off the record, they're all pretty clear about what they want.
Virasi, what you and me say will really not matter, as you really pointed out rightly. But what is that really panning out right now in a current scenario becomes important. See, this is the time for DK Shivakumar to take that opportunity and show it. he has also dreamt it for a really longer time. You remember there was a statement that he had made in the past. He says, I'm not someone, a Swami, who's with a saffron robe. So he's not here to see this whole drama very silently. He also deserves an opportunity. We have seen him going to the jail for the party's sake. He has proved his loyalty as well. So this is the time where he wants to get that opportunity probably, and his set of MLAs, the loyalist of DK Shivakumar, wants to see him as the chief minister. On the other side, you have Siddaramaiah, who has already announced that this is going to be his last election and he would not want to contest in the further. Obviously, there's a pressure from his loyalist as well. However, that needs to be seen. It's a matter of the future. But for him, it's the 2.5 years of his whole of political end as well, to enjoy this period and give the best to the public as well. But what is really working out in favor of him is the whole of the Ahinda concept that we are speaking. Let's see what really it takes on to there.
We believe we've been getting multiple responses. There are many MLAs who've been speaking out. There are those who've been making their position clear. Very briefly before I let you all go, Sanjay Jha, what do you believe should be the message from the Congress High Command if they don't have categorical clarity by the 1st of December to the MLAs in Karnataka? Because one of the problems has been that everyone's speaking out of turn. Siddaramaiah loyalists turning around and saying that the High Command needs to come out. Everyone's saying High Command needs to say what it needs to say, but then they're also trying to make their point very clear as they're making that point.
Well, actually, Veera, for them to troubleshoot in Karnataka should not be a problem, because the Congress president is Mr. Kharge, who comes from Karnataka and has his own tall, towering personality and his own equity. The bottom line is that the Congress has to send out a message that it is here and it is going to be united, despite the fact that it is aware that there are internal challenges in terms of a leadership tussle. Now, the way to communicate that is, I believe, not to sit in Delhi. I would actually have liked it if sometimes the leadership moves to Bengaluru, whether it's even Rahul or anybody else within the Congress leadership, come to Bengaluru, meet people. People would like it if they're seen as hands-on, sitting with the legislators. I have never approved of this culture of people flying down to Delhi to meet XYZ. It's much easy for one leader to fly down to Bengaluru. We got only 3 states. Engage with people, listen to them. You see, the basic thing, Veera, is this.
Interrupting you right now because we have a bit of breaking news, as I mentioned, coming in. Multiple MLAs making in. I believe Satish Jarkioli has said the High Command and sent this message across to High Command that decide and end the drama. If High Command changes CM, we will accept. This is a big bit of breaking news from Satish Jarkioli that's being reported right now with us. Look, this is very important, and I'm just putting this in context, guys. I think Deepak is reporting it because Deepak is outside Satish Jarkioli's residence. I believe right now, from the reports that we have right now, that Satish Jarkioli has told that the High Command has to decide and end the drama, and if the High Command decides to change Chief Minister, we will accept it. I don't know what to make of it as yet because we haven't heard that bite as yet, but we will try and play that bite in just a bit. But Ramakrishna Upadhyay, if this is what Satish Jarkioli has said, if High Command decides on leadership change, we will all accept it. We need to. Many leaders have said this. At this juncture, would you give it too much importance, coming from Satish Jarkioli, Ramakrishna Upadhyay?
Veer, I think it's very interesting coming from Satish Jarkioli, who is one of the contenders to the post of Chief Ministership. He says, let the High Command decide to change Siddaramaiah and we are ready to accept it. So it's either him or Shivakumar, and it's a very clear indication that High Command should go ahead and change the Chief Minister.
Right. I think this is a very important point that's coming in. As per reports coming in, Satish Jarkioli spoke to reporters, including to NDTV's Deepak Bopanna, who said, when asked about... let's listen into that Satish Jarkioli tic-tac from or interview with Deepak Bopanna. It's a very important one at this stage. Let's listen in.
बीजेपी बार टिप्पणी कर रही है कि गवर्नेंस नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ लोग लीडरशिप के बारे में, चीफ मिनिस्टर के बारे में, मिनिस्ट्रीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। एक सीनियर लीडर होते हुए आपको क्या लगता है ये इशू रिजॉल्व होनी चाहिए?
जल्दी होना चाहिए। बार सब लोग कह रहे हैं, सीएम ने कल भी कहा है और खास करके खड़गे जी ने कहा है। हम भी आशा करते हैं जल्दी इसको सॉल्व होना चाहिए। बहुत जल्द होना चाहिए।
लेकिन क्यों नहीं हो रहा है सर, यही सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न उठता है, क्योंकि लोग भी, कर्नाटका के लोग भी यही पूछ रहे हैं।
ये कहे हम बेंगलुरु में बैठ के नहीं बताएंगे, हमारे सीनियर वरिष्ठ लोग आए, वही बैठ के इसको तय करना है, इसको खत्म करना है।
कुछ इंडिकेटर आया है कि ये असेंबली सेशन के पहले या पार्लियामेंट सेशन के पहले ये डिस्कशन होगा या एक क्लैरिटी दी जाएगी?
क्लैरिटी होना चाहिए, ये तो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है। जो भी है वरिष्ठ नेता है, सीएम साहब है, डीसीएम है, उनके नेतृत्व में कुछ बातचीत होना चाहिए।
और आप डीके शिवकुमार जी से मिले, इसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए, क्या डिस्कशन हुआ ये मीटिंग में?
नहीं, वो तो हमारा अध्यक्ष है, नेता है, इसमें मिलना कोई नया नहीं, हमारा पार्टी का है, बाहर का तो नहीं है।
नया नहीं है, लेकिन जो टाइमिंग है इससे जो बिल्कुल प्रश्न उठता है कि क्या है ये, क्योंकि बहुत सारे समय में आपने भी प्रश्न उठाया, उन्होंने भी प्रश्न उठाया, लेकिन अब आप ये जो क्रूशियल जंक्शन है, इसमें आपकी जो मीटिंग है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
नहीं मिला तो पहले भी हम मिले हैं, ऐसे नहीं है पहली बार हुआ है। उनके घर पे हम मिले हैं, यहाँ भी उनका भी मुलाकात हुआ है, ये होते रहते हैं। सेम पार्टी का है, खास करके हमारा अध्यक्ष ही है, ऐसा नहीं है उसमें कोई नया।
कुछ तो बताइए, क्या डिस्कस हुआ मीटिंग में?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं, अभी पार्टी का जो हाल चल रहा है, आज का माहौल, खास करके अगला चुनाव हमारा लक्ष्य है, उसके बारे में ज़्यादा चर्चा हुआ है।
सर लास्ट में आपसे एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूँ, आप आज कुछ एमएलए से मिले, फिर से एमएलए से मिल रहे हैं, 2-3 बैठक हो रही है, ये स्पेशली नॉर्थ कर्नाटका के एमएलए से, उनसे आपकी क्या बातचीत चल रही है?
नहीं, ऐसे नहीं है, हमारे घर पे तो रोज़ आते हैं इतना लोग, जब भी मैं रहता हूँ आते रहते हैं, ऐसे पहली बार नहीं है, कम से कम इतना लोग आते हैं।
इसे लंच मीटिंग भी,
लंच और होते रहते हैं, उनका काम रहते हैं। सो पार्टी के बारे में
था सर लंच में, ये पॉलिटिकल लंच था?
नहीं, हमेशा मिलते हैं, 3 महीने 30 महीने से मिल रहे हैं, 2.5 साल से। सो आगे मिलते रहेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है। अब इसमें
कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिया आपने, क्योंकि बहुत हम देख रहे हैं कुछ एमएलए दिल्ली जा रहे हैं, कुछ एमएलए बार बात कर रहे हैं, जो पार्टी को एक एम्बैरेसिंग सिचुएशन में ला रहा है। क्या आपने कुछ सीनियर लीडर होते हुए नॉर्थ कर्नाटका के, क्या आपने कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिया है अपने एमएलए को?
नहीं, वो तो कोई नहीं बात नहीं कर रहा है। कुछ लोग दिल्ली तो गए जरूर, हम आशा करते हैं इसको जल्द खत्म होना चाहिए।
Well, that's Satish Jarkioli. Remember, an important power player, someone who has been part of the power politics, not just in the Congress. Remember, his family, the Jarkioli family, holds wheels influence in the BJP as well. Important power players in Karnataka, the Jarkioli brothers, of course, Satish Jarkioli, sending out the message there to Deepak, Bhupanna, Ritu, that look, I meet my MLAs any day, there's nothing new about it, but let the High Command, and sending out the clear message that we've been hearing all day, the High Command needs to come out and put to rest this speculation, end the confusion, send out a categorical message of clarity.